สวัสดีครับผู้ชมทุกท่านนะครับก็เออสวัสดีบ่ายวันจันทร์นะครับก็ผมชื่อภูมิพักจารุประกรณ์นะครับเป็นอาจารย์ประจำที่คณะดุริยางคศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยศิลปากรนะครับก็วันนี้เป็นตัวแทนของคณะดุริยางคศาสตร์นะครับมาเป็นพิธีกรในการMasterclass ครั้งนี้นะครับก็งานในบ่ายวันนี้เนี่ยก็คือเป็นงานอาร์เคดนะครับหรือว่า The International Symposium on Art Craft and Design 2021นะครับก็แทนที่เราจะมีด้วยโควิดหรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะครับก็แทนที่เราจะมีงานใน1สัปดาห์เนี่ยเราก็แยกงานออกเป็นกิจกรรมเล็กๆนะครับก็วางตัวอยู่ตามเดือนต่างๆในเทอมต้นนี้นะครับก็คณะดุริยางคศาสตร์เนี่ยก็ได้จัดงานในลักษณะของเลคเชอร์นะครับหรือว่าการพูดคุยแล้วก็มีเวิร์กช็อปต่างๆรวมถึงกิจกรรมของวันนี้นะครับก็คือเป็นเปียโนมาสเตอร์คลาสนะครับก็วันนี้ก็เป็นศิลปากรเปียโนมาสเตอร์คลาสซีรีส์นะครับ by Anna Beatriz Ferreira นะครับก็วันนี้เนี่ยจะมีนักศึกษาชั้นปีที่4ของเรา3คนนะครับเป็น active participants นะครับก็แล้วก็นักศึกษาทั้ง3คนเนี่ยก็เป็นลูกศิษย์ของผู้ช่วยศาสตราจารย์จามอนนะครับก็ผู้ชมที่อยู่ทาง Facebook นะครับก็สามารถฟัง Masterclass ทั้งหมดได้เลยนะครับแล้วก็สามารถส่งคำถามมาในคอมเมนต์นะครับถ้าเรามีเวลาเนี่ยเราก็จะเอาคำถามมาถามอาจารย์อันนาได้นะครับก็welcome everyone to Arcade, the International Symposium on Arts, Craft and Design 2021. So this year, because of COVID and everything, we have to organize our activities into several occasions throughout the month. And Faculty of Music and other schools, we have organized lectures, talks, and workshops. And today is the first piano masterclass by Anna Beatriz Ferreira. So I would like to introduce Anna Beatriz Ferreira a little bit. So อาจารย์อันนานะครับเป็นโซโลอิสต์แล้วก็เป็นนักดนตรีวงแชมเบอร์นะครับแล้วก็ได้ทำการแสดงในประเทศโปรตุเกสแล้วก็ใน UK นะครับแล้วก็แคนาดาเป็นประจำนะครับอาจารย์เนี่ยสำเร็จการศึกษาระดับปริญญาตรีนะครับแล้วก็ปริญญาโทที่ Royal College of Music แล้วก็ขณะนี้กำลังศึกษาระดับปริญญาเอกอยู่ที่ Cardiff University นะครับก็ที่ผ่านมาเนี่ยอาจารย์อันนาเนี่ยทำวิจัยเกี่ยวกับเปียโนคอนแชร์โตของโจลี่บรากาซานโตสนะครับซึ่งอาจารย์อันนาเนี่ยทำการแสดงปฐมบรรทัดครั้งแรกของอังกฤษเนี่ยเมื่อปี 2015 นะครับแล้วก็แสดงที่เซนต์เดวิดฮอลล์ของคาร์ดิฟแล้วก็มีการทัวร์ที่โปรตุเกสด้วยนะครับก็ขณะนี้เนี่ยอาจารย์อันนาเป็นอาจารย์อยู่ที่ Junior Conservatoire of Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama ที่คาร์ดิฟนะครับแล้วก็เป็น Associate Lecturer ที่ Baspa University นะครับ So I would like to introduce our Anna Beatriz Ferreira a little bit. So Anna is a soloist and also a chamber musician. She has been performed in Portugal, the UK, and Canada. Anna has obtained her bachelor and master's degrees from the Royal College of Music, and she's now pursuing her PhD at Cardiff University with full scholarship. And she premiered the piano concerto by Jolie Braga Santos, which is the topic of her PhD, in 2015. And she has also performed the concerto with Cardiff University Symphony Orchestra in St. David's Hall in Cardiff, and also had a tour in Portugal with Portuguese Philharmonic Orchestra. So please welcome Anna Beatriz Ferreira. Hi, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. And I'm probably going to say it wrong, but Kopkun Ka to everyone over there for inviting me. I'm very, very happy.
That was actually perfect.
It was. Oh yes.
Yeah, I think everyone should know that Anna has been in Thailand once, and she really loved Thailand. And
Yes.
I'm sure she wants to come back again when the pandemic has resolved.
Yes.
So, would you like to start with the first student then?
Yeah,
that
absolutely. Thank you.
So, นักเรียนคนแรกนะครับชื่อว่ากัญญาภักดิ์หรือว่าบัวนะครับเป็นนักเรียนชั้นปีที่4ของคณะดุริยางคศาสตร์ของเรานะครับแล้ววันนี้บัวก็จะมาเล่นเพลงSonata in D Major K284 นะครับของ Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart ท่อนที่1และ2นะครับ So the first active participant is actually our fourth year student, Kanya Park, or her nickname is Bua, and she'll be performing the first and second movements of Mozart's Sonata in D Major K284. So I'll leave the stage now, and I'll let you two communicate, okay? But I'll be around if you need anything, both of you, okay? All right, thank you. Would you like her
Hello.
to start?
Well,
Hello.
first of all, nice to meet you. And if you wouldn't mind, is that okay if you just play the first movement for now, and then we work a little bit, and then we move on to the second? Yeah, just the first one.
So อาจารย์อานาบอกว่าI'll translate a bit, okay? Because I'm sure she's really nervous. So อาจารย์อานาบอกว่าขอให้เล่น movement ที่1ก่อนนะครับก็บอกว่ายินดีที่ได้พบกันแล้วก็ขอให้เล่น movement ที่1ก่อนก็ได้แล้วก็เดี๋ยวค่อยว่ากันก็คือเล่น movement ที่1ก่อนแล้วจะคุยกันสักพักหนึ่งแล้วก็เดี๋ยวเราค่อยว่ากันต่อเนาะ
โอเคค่ะ Hello
Okay.
Start
Okay. So she'll be playing the first movement and then you have a chat a bit and then we continue to the second movement, okay?
Yes. thank you. Thank you. You all right? Yeah. Ah, good. Great. Okay. So already quite a lot of nice things that are happening. Okay. You're very precise with all your articulation and, with all the dynamics and everything. You're following the score very well, which is good. You're able to read it well. Things that we can work is how you look at those dynamic changes. And please let me know if you need me to stop here for someone to tell you this. Are you understanding okay?
ก็คือเมื่อกี้อาจารย์อนาบอกว่าบัวเล่นตามโน้ตได้ดีนะครับแล้วก็ใส่ใจกับเรื่อง articulation ค่อนข้างดีแต่ว่าที่อยากจะมาทำกันในหลังจากนี้ก็อาจจะเป็นเรื่องการเปลี่ยน dynamic so the change of dynamics and everything right?
Okay. Yeah, so because as you probably already know, Mozart composed this sonata already thinking of the pianoforte. So he was very excited about all the possibilities of dynamics, and that is why he writes so many of them, because he's like, oh, I can make all these differences that previous instruments could not do. But now it's important to know how to do that, because for example in right this beginning, if we go about it like all this, it might be a little bit too much, and I'm thinking of the perspective of someone in the audience. All of a sudden then they would kind of feel a little bit like, oh, okay. So you can definitely do that. First of all, I mean, I don't know how advanced you are in your engagement with this piece, but I would say instead of thinking of a forte, you can think more of a lean into it. And as you lean into it, you can do a little touch of pedal. So instead of doing it, I don't know, I mean, I can't quite see your feet, but rather than going about it, you can start piano, and then it's a tiny bit of pedal. So you give the idea there's something different there. There's a forte, but it's not quite so much as this. You see what I mean? So do you mind trying that? Yeah, a little bit gentler, exactly. Instead of, you see the difference? And you can even give it a little bit of wrist. Instead of just kind of staying, exactly. Yeah, it makes it, I mean, at least for me, it's a suggestion, okay? Then you can do what you want with it. But I would say that every time you have these kinds of sudden fortes, try thinking of them as a way to lean on it with a tiny touch of pedal. Oh, sorry about that. With a tiny touch of pedal, and making it a little bit softer. And if we go then from the beginning, okay, so this is something already that you can keep in mind. If we go from the beginning, on the second bar, for example, I'm not sure whether I would do the 3 notes all the same. Yeah, I think it would kind of be more like a little bit more on the third one, and then the rest. Yeah, so it's almost like you have a question, yeah, rather than going da 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 da. What comes next? Da 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 da. Yeah. Well done. And you know what? Now it was so much better because you phrased the next bit a lot more. Before it sounded very much like a instead of, you see, you can give a lot more, phrasing into it rather than just keeping it like so, okay? And actually, this is something that you can use for the rest of the sonata. Think about singing a lot more. I mean, if you remember, Mozart wrote a lot of operas, yeah? So he had the human voice very present in his mind. And although he's, an amazing composer for piano, there's always this element of singing in what he's doing. So even in the semi-quaver passages, instead of going dugga 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 dugga, you ya da 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 da. If you can try to shape things as much as possible, that would be nice. Okay, so let's go from the beginning. don't forget what we just talked about in that second bar, okay? And all the subito fortes, try to be a little bit more gentle with it. Don't forget about your wrists leaning onto it, a tiny touch of pedal, and then we see how we do, okay? Do you have any questions?
Anna, I actually have some questions. Did you mention using a little bit of the pedal with the forte?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna explain to Boo a little bit more.
It's just a tiny thing, so it's not something that stays. It's just you play the note and the foot goes down and then straight up again, like a lean on it, and then you take it off.
ครับก็เมื่อกี้อาจารย์อนาก็ได้แนะนำในบางช่วงนะครับแล้วก็มีช่วงหนึ่งที่ตรงประโยคน่าจะห้องที่2ที่มีช่วงที่เป็นฟอร์เต้อาจารย์บอกว่าอาจจะใช้เพด a ลนิดนึงเพื่อเหมือนเพื่อเน้นนะครับคือเหมือนบอกว่าไม่ใช่การเน้นในอย่างตรงไปตรงมาคือเหมือนเป็นการแบบลีนคือเหมือนเอียงเข้าไปหาฟอร์เต้นิดหน่อยเนี่ยนะครับแล้วก็ระหว่างนั้นก็มีพูดถึงเรื่องการเปลี่ยนไดนามิกเนี่ยว่ามันไม่อาจจะเป็นค่อยๆเป็นค่อยๆไปมันอาจจะไม่ใช่เน้นมากอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะครับก็จริงบัวน่าจะเข้าใจทั้งหมดก็would you like her to play from the top until
Yeah, she can just start, yeah, and I'll stop eventually. Yeah.
โอเคก็อาจารย์บอกว่าให้เริ่มเล่นตั้งแต่ต้นอีกทีหนึ่งครับตามที่แนะนำแล้วก็เดี๋ยวอาจารย์จะบอกให้หยุดนะครับ
Yeah, that was better. But now you must not forget the beat as it goes. So basically, all that you did was the right idea, okay? But now it has to be put in practice without losing a sense of beat. Yaga daga daga diga dum dum da da di da 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 da. And the left hand is very important to keep it. Yeah, it really cannot miss the beat because now I feel it's a little bit too flexible. And we can't have it very flexible, okay? So one more time with a stronger sense of the beat, okay? So that was a lot better, okay? So never forget that, okay? Now, when we get into this part, well done on the contrast, okay? I really like the way that you go into piano after that forte. It sounds, very natural, which is very nice. Now, careful with your left hand, because we really don't want something that is very heavy and that kind of can come in the way. Okay, we really want just this, yeah. That's all we want. And this, if you can try to keep it very, very precise, but not, too much in, okay? Yeah, all right, straight from that bit, so that is beat number 9. Yeah, straight from there if you want. See what I mean? It's something that you can work on. Yeah, it's something that you can work over time, okay?
A boy is asking you whether her left hand should be a bit softer, or is
Yes,
right?
that's exactly the point. Because it is a little bit too loud at the moment, and it's making, it's kind of going over the main melody, and we want to keep it to a minimum instead of, yeah, we really want it to be quieter. Okay, you can keep going. The whole thing about the leaning, it works as well for the second one. So when we get to here, it's the same thing. It's a lean with it. Yeah, you can also again use a little bit of the wrist there, a tiny whiff of the pedal when you get to that one instead of Yeah, so it's important to have this kind of way of looking at it. Yes, so we can try then one more time from number 9, and then just keep on going. I'll stop you. Okay, good. So, what is going through your mind when you're playing the section that goes from 13, bar 14, 15, 16? What is in your mind? What are you thinking in terms of what do you want to do with the music? Where do you want it to go? Are you thinking about it?
คิดว่าค่อยๆหรือว่าเพิ่มขึ้นเรื่อยๆค่ะตื่นเต้นขึ้นเรื่อยๆจนไปถึงห้อง16อะค่ะ
So she thinks about like trying to make it more like gradually more exciting until we reach bar 16
Okay.
and then like reach that point probably the peak of this excitement at bar 17.
Yeah, that is really good. Well done, well done. The point here is that your left hand is not being very coherent within itself, because often you're doing accents and I would say that you can make it more, kind of having a line, a little bit more of a line in between it. Is a really important one, okay, because it's like the tension before the resolution again. So careful with unwanted accents. Yes, try to kind of make the octaves make sense between themselves and not have like the odd octave all of a sudden too loud, kind of as you say, you're building something up and you're building it and you're building it and you're building, you get to the last one, you get to that B flat, but yes, so a little bit more sense. And I mean, in Mozart or in these classical sonatas, thinking of the orchestra sometimes really helps. Because for me, I mean, what instruments in the orchestra would you say are playing this part of the left hand?
ในออร์เคสตรา
หมายถึงทั้งหมดเนี่ย
มือซ้ายครับที่เป็นมือซ้าย
เบสแบบพวกเครื่องที่เสียงต่ำ
like double basses.
Yeah, exactly. And we cannot let whatever the violins are doing kind of mess up with what the double basses are doing. And the double basses themselves would go yum tum tum tin tum tin tum. They would go like in their thing, and it would all make sense in one line, rather than kind of So yeah, try to think a bit more where you're going, which you have the perfect idea of where it's going musically. So yeah, try to make sense of the left hand in that sense, in the octaves. Yeah, let's give it a try straight from 13. Yeah.
Anna, can I interrupt here a little bit, because I want to summarize what you just said, which is really interesting and should be useful for other people who are on Facebook as well. So อาจารย์อนาบอกว่าเมื่อกี้ที่อาจารย์อนาถามบัวครับว่าคิดอะไรตั้งแต่บาร์ที่13ถึงบาร์ที่17ถูกไหมบัวก็ตอบว่าคิดถึงการค่อยๆ build up dynamic หรือว่าความตื่นเต้นบางอย่างถูกไหมครับทีนี้อาจารย์อนาก็เลยสรุปว่ามือซ้ายเนี่ยต้องระวังเรื่องการ accent โดยที่ไม่ได้ตั้งใจตัวมือซ้ายเนี่ยก็จะต้อง build up ตามเชฟที่เราต้องการสร้างขึ้นมาด้วยนะครับก็อยากจะให้จินตนาการว่ามือซ้ายเนี่ยเป็น double bass ที่ก็จะดำเนินแนวของตัวเองเนี่ยขึ้นไปจนถึงบาร์ที่17แล้วมือขวาก็สร้างแนวของตัวเองไปถึงบาร์ที่17เหมือนกันนะครับอย่าให้มือขวามันมาทำร้ายมือซ้ายที่เรากำลังบิวขึ้นมานะครับก็we like her to play from that bit until you say stop.
Bar 13, yeah.
ตั้งแต่ห้อง13นะครับ
nicely done, nicely done. Okay, that is all right. From a technical point of view, and sound balance, of course, the left hand is a little bit too much in the right hand zone. Okay, so we really need to have a very clear distinction. And this, and also be careful because I'm listening quite a bit of the A's. Yeah, and it's really about those. Yeah, so really making sure to keep that to a minimum and have the bottom of the left hand as the secondary voice and having the right hand as the top voice. So we have like a 3-tier hierarchy, and the very bottom is the A, then we have the middle voice, which is the lower voice, and then we have the top voice in terms of volume. Yeah, can you try? Okay, that is better. Okay, so nicely done with that. That's ending. I would say try not to have it too different because it seems like this is something and then something else. Yeah, I would say. I mean, I agree with the way that it's going because it needs to get quieter. Yes, it's the ending of a phrase, but at the same time, would make it belong more together. And maybe not wait so much in between the two notes. But this is something very tiny. So now I am aware of time, okay, and I mean, probably you want a little bit of advice on the second movement as well. So for the rest of the first movement, it's the same thing that I said in the beginning. Think of singing, okay? I think the right hand can have a lot more of those, melodies. So, for example, a way of practicing this would be to practice it a bit slower and to make sure kind of to shape everything as you go. And then, of course, why is this dark? Okay. There we are. Okay, we're back. We're back.
ELT is automatic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's automatic.
Okay.
But yes, to keep it as sung as possible, to be a bit gentler with the sudden changes in dynamics. Okay, always think of the quality of your sound. You don't want to make a forte sound just like this just to be forte. You want to make a forte sound that is beautiful and pleasant for you and for everyone else. Okay, to hear. Also, it's the question of balance. For example, what we talked about in terms of the repeated notes, it's something that happens also in general, and again the balance of the left hand and right hand. And in places especially as, for example, bar 33, for example. If you find bar 33, yeah, in those areas, for example, the left hand can get quite loud. Okay, da-da-da-dee-da-da-da-dee-da. It's not quite the point. No matter how much tension we have going on and we want to be, passionate and dramatic, we always need to think what is the main thing, and we have to kind of keep that in check. And even in forte parts, I mean, a forte does not necessarily mean forte in the two hands at once. Sometimes a forte is kind of the combination of the volumes of the two hands that together make a forte, you see. So that is an important thing. But yeah, do you have any questions about this first movement, or are you happy to play the second one?
ตรง
เอาไว้
ที่50กว่าเพราะว่าแบบมีเทคนิคอะไรที่จะเสริมให้มันได้กว่านี้ไหมห้องที่52
She's asking about bar 52 onwards, whether you have any suggestions in terms of techniques, right? Yeah, from bar 52 onwards.
In terms of technique of...
Yeah, because like the left hand has to jump around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing for that point, in terms of the technique itself was good that you were using, okay. I would say it's the same thing as before, just making sure that this is not too loud. We don't want this A to be too loud. We just want to have that bottom one for exactly. And I would say the dialogue would go between that and then the left hand on top. Da 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 da. Yeah. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Yeah, and this is another area where you can get a lot of the dialogue going on. But again, the technique that you are using, that is all fine, okay. It's just a matter of the levels of the volume that you're using and making sure that, for example, just because you have 4 semiquavers, they're not da 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 da, all of them, that you kind of know which ones to kind of keep low and which ones to keep high. But yes, I would say that apart from that, you're doing it well.
บอกว่าเรื่องของการมี dialog ระหว่างมือซ้ายกับมือขวาครับแล้วก็เมื่อกี้อาจารย์พูดถึงเรื่องว่าต้องเน้นตรงตัวนิ้วโป้งมากกว่าข้างบนนะครับเราไม่ได้ต้องการได้ยินตัว A ข้างบนมากนะเราต้องการได้ยินตัวล่างนะครับแล้วตัวล่างเนี่ยมันก็จะมีลายของมันแล้วมันก็จะโต้ตอบกับลายอื่นนะครับลายมือซ้ายเพราะฉะนั้นนอกเหนือจากนั้นในเชิงเทคนิคนั้นก็โอเคแล้วแต่ว่าเรื่องมิวสิกเนี่ยอาจจะต้องปรับนิดนึง So would you like to continue with the second movement?
Yes, let's go for it.
ก็ถ้าบัวพร้อมก็เล่น movement ที่2ตั้งแต่ต้นจนจบให้อาจารย์ฟังแล้วก็เราจะทำงานเหมือนเดิมครับก็เล่นทั้งหมดก่อนเดี๋ยวอาจารย์ก็จะค่อยๆเจาะไปทีละส่วนเนาะครับ
Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm aware that we don't have that much time, and it would be good for us to work a little bit. Is that okay?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
I'm aware of time, and I would say if it's okay with her, we can already start working a little bit from this beginning.
Okay.
Because the idea is going to be the same throughout.
ครับจะได้อาจารย์บอกว่าเราจะได้ประหยัดเวลาก็คือเราอาจจะค่อยๆปรับตรงนี้ไปเลยเพราะว่ามันก็คล้ายๆกันใช่ไหมครับโอเคครับ All right.
So it's exactly the same thing as before. Sound quality, okay? You have to think, what is the world you're trying to create? Okay, so again, a forte is not simply a forte. Just because it's a forte, we don't go, yeah. You have to think about it, yeah. And you're thinking, okay, this is a second movement. Second movements tend to be, more lyrical, okay, and we need to sing more. And again, be a little bit more careful with the sound. So rather than going like so, try to relax your wrists a little bit, using your fingers a little bit more. And this is enough, okay? Not so much, but... And being careful because this is not quite the same as this, okay? That has to be a little bit more. And then even when you have sforzando, it wouldn't go, it would go... And don't forget to finish off the phrase. So not so much, yeah? This is the end of a phrase, and then you're absolutely right, here you changed. Same thing here. Yeah, so it's, be careful with the way that you are using your fingers, okay, and making your sounds. Think what kind of forte you want to make, because this is Mozart, yeah? Maybe in I don't know, a more modern composer, you could do this kind of forte straight away. But in this, be very mindful. And again, just because it says forte, it's not forte together in both hands. Forte is the sum of the parts, okay? So we're a little bit more right hand, a little bit less left hand. That together make a nice forte, okay? And finishing off that phrase. So let's try one more time, yeah? Very nice and soft and beautiful and lyrical, yeah? terms of the hierarchy, okay? Because all these notes, they're not going to be the same. Yeah, this is not all exactly the same. We have the top of the third. And then we want more of this one. So it's all about trying to follow that. Okay. Oh, see, that was so much more beautiful. All right. Yeah, take very good care of the phrases you have in your hands because they're beautiful and they're precious. Okay, and you want to take really good care of them. Okay, so let's go after that point. Yeah, so yeah, just go from that point. Okay, well, the right hand was a lot better, okay? The right hand was a lot better. Now, make sure that your left hand is doing all of that it needs to be doing in terms of the duration of things. So, for example, from the beginning of 11, let's say 11, you do that one complete, and then it's like you play just a quaver. And then the other one. Yeah, but it's a full crotchet, yeah, full note there. 1, 2. So the left hand is a lot more present in there because if you take it too soon, you leave the right hand alone. So this is on 13 and 14. The right hand is not supposed to be left singing by itself with no sound left, okay? So the left hand, make sure that, you know, when you see a crotchet, that you stay for the whole of it and not leave the right hand by itself. You don't need to do this again. All right, again, I'm enjoying much more the right hand cantabile right now, so well done for that. Now we can get into 17, okay? And I can already tell you, even before you start playing, be very careful with balance, okay? We really do not want a left hand that is in the same territory as the right hand here, okay? So melody, accompaniment, and the singing going on top. Yeah.
ก็อาจารย์อนาบอกว่าให้ตรงนี้เนี่ยต้องระวังเรื่องบาลานซ์นะครับยังระวังไม่ให้มือซ้ายมันมากเกินไปเพราะว่ามันอยู่ในน่าจะอยู่ในโซนเดียวกันเนาะนะครับบาร์17ใช่ครับ
Okay, so I'm again enjoying much more your singing. That is really good. Just careful when you get into notes after you played a long note. What do I mean by this? If you go, for example, to bar 23, just be careful not to make it sound like yeah, I'm exaggerating, okay, but after a long note, even if you're separating the notes, not, yeah, so we need to be careful after a long note, this note after that would always be a little bit less, okay? Because we don't want to destroy this beautiful atmosphere, and now you're being very good at creating it. So every little note counts there. So again, careful with the sudden sforzados, okay? Because we don't want to make them seem like out of nowhere. So this is 29, all right? Can you be a little again, for me, the word in English, maybe you'll find the equivalent in Thai, but it's leaning on things rather than suddenly kind of pressing on things. You lean on the fortes, you lean on the sforzandi, and that kind of makes it all a little bit rounder, more pleasant that way. So can you go straight from 29? Yes, and think of this concept while you do that. Well, what did you think of that? I enjoyed it a lot more. Hopefully you did too. Again, it's the whole thing, you know, trying to keep in time. So it's giving that little thing, but without messing too much with the timing of it. But yeah, now think exactly of the same thing. Oh, I see here a little thing. Okay, thank you. Be careful now with your sound in the forte of the octaves that come next. Again, your differences in dynamics, they are quite good. I mean, you can really tell you've read the text very well, but when you get to this point, try not to go, yeah, but a little bit more legato, a little bit more round, yeah. So let's go from 31, okay? So have that contrast between the piano and then the forte, yeah?
What bar again? Sorry.
31, 3-1.
31. Okay. Very nice. You're really getting into the mood of this one, which is really good. This is something quite small, but again, quality of sound. Okay, so every time the left hand comes in, if you can try maybe a gentler sound, not so much, but you know, you think, oh, it's 2 fingers, you know, doing it individually. Yeah, again, and being a little bit more flexible with your wrist if you can manage to use the wrist. Yeah, exactly. The sound becomes much better, okay? And also, in the right hand, for example, this is on 39 and also 41. Careful with your repeated notes. Or the first one. We really don't want 3 notes that that is all the same. If you notice, the articulation, we have the E connecting to the C, okay? So that already makes the C less loud than the E. We have this movement, and then we have a staccato. And we have... So basically we have 3 Cs that are part of 3 different movements. It becomes a lot, beautiful. That's right. So again, you know, and I'm saying this now as well because there's a lot of repeated notes coming up, you know, in the bit that you haven't reached yet. So think already about this. We never want to play, you know, the same repeated notes all the same way. Okay, so try to be a little inventive, creative with this.
So we can go from that point. So this is 39. Again, careful with left hand. We want beautiful, with wrist, left hand, and we don't want all those repeated notes to be the same. And then you can keep on moving on. Yeah? Okay. Well, I would love for us to keep going, but I'm very glad to see that the mood of this movement is much better. Okay, again, careful with the balance because, for example, in this section, the left hand was a little bit into it, too much in it, and it's also about the repeated notes. When you have that Alberti bass, you do, always make sure that you have one voice that is coming more than the other, and always think of that hierarchy. That is important. No, but you're definitely getting the right mood behind this, which is really good. I mean, do you have any questions about it?
No, are you sure no questions?
พูดให้
ได้
ก็หลักๆก็คือแบบว่าเวลาหนูเล่นอันเนี้ยแบบอยากตึงตังอะไรอย่างงี้ใช่ไหมคะแบบเวลาที่มันมีฟอร์เต้อะใช่ไหมคะ
So she kind of summarized the entire class with one sentence, which is like don't be too like bing bang pow with everything. Is that correct? Like don't be too like loud with forte and stuff. So that's like the first thing that she could take from this.
Yeah, and it's thinking about the sound you want to make rather than seeing something in the music, which again you see very well, and then do it. It's not so as simple as that. You see it, but think in what context, and what kind of sound do I want to make? What is the style of this piece? Because again, if this had been Prokofiev, your idea of forte sound would have been completely different because fortes in Prokofiev have nothing to do with the forte in Mozart, which it varies according to the different eras, and it's having a little bit more that perspective, and just singing more in general, just having more awareness about the quality of the sound. I would say that's one of the main things. But how long have you been playing this for?
เพลงนี้หัดมาสักเท่าไหร่ละครับ
ท่อนแรกค่ะเป็นของเทอมที่แล้วแล้วก็ท่อนที่สองคือของเทอมนี้ค่ะ
เออ
ก็ประมาณ5
Yeah, she just started the second movement not long ago, but the first movement was from last semester.
Okay. See, so there's already a lot of ground that you covered in a little amount of time, and you still have time to keep working on it. So yeah, I'm sure it will be great. Thank you very much for playing today.
So yeah, I think we'd like to give a round of applause to Bua and to Ajahn Anna. So thank you so much, both of you. And I'm sure we're all really tired. So I think we should go to have like a short break, maybe. So maybe you could come back probably 5 after I don't know 5 after 4 in Thailand. So 5 after what 10 for you, is that right?
Yes,
All right.
that's.
So we're gonna have around like 12 minutes break, so everyone
Okay.
can stretch and have a drink and so the next student can get ready for his round as well. ก็อาจจะขอพักสักประมาณ 12 นาทีนะครับ ก็ขอบคุณน้องบัวแล้วก็อาจารย์อันนามากๆนะครับ อาจจะขอพักสักนิดนึงเพื่อให้เปลี่ยนจัดเปลี่ยนสถานที่นะครับ แล้วก็ยืดเส้นยืดสายสักพักหนึ่งแล้วก็ให้นักเรียนคนที่2นะครับมาวอร์มอัพนะครับ ก็เดี๋ยวอีกสัก10 นาทีพบกันนะครับ ก็สวัสดีทุกคนอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับตอนนี้ก็เป็นช่วงที่2ของPiano Masterclass Series นะครับ by Anna Beatriz Ferreira นะครับก็หลังจากที่ได้ฟังกัญญาภักดิ์เล่นโมซาร์ท K284 ไปแล้วนะครับต่อไปก็จะเป็นศิรภพนะครับหรือว่าว่านนะครับก็เป็นนักศึกษาชั้นปีที่4เหมือนกันที่วันนี้ก็จะมาเล่น Beethoven First Movement นะครับของ Sonata in E flat major นะครับของ Beethoven ให้ทุกคนฟังนะครับก็ welcome everyone so we are at the second section of this masterclass Sirapop or Wan will be performing the first movement of Sonata in E flat major by Ludwig van Beethoven for Ajahn Anna today. So Anna, are you ready? So I'm gonna leave the stage and I'm gonna let you two talk to each other. Is that okay? Okay, I think you haven't turned on your microphone yet. So.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you. Okay, so whenever you're ready, feel free to begin. Just play through. Yeah. Thank you very much for playing. Great. Well, you are very, very expressive. That is great. Yeah, you have a beautiful sound. You sing loads, which is great. Okay, so really nicely done. But now we must think, again, everything has its own context, yeah? And an espressivo in Beethoven is not going to be the same espressivo in Schumann or Liszt or any others, okay? With your reaction, I see that you already know. You already know what I'm going to say. It sounds beautiful, but it doesn't sound like Beethoven a lot of the time, okay? So, and it's most of the time not a question of sound, even though sometimes you use a little bit too much pedal for my own liking. But we will work through that, we'll go through it. But it's mostly a matter of timing, of tempo, okay? So, for example, that beginning, yeah? You took a lot of time with it. And even though I see why the first bar would be, a little bit more, it has that kind of quality to it. And then that big surprise that we know of, yeah. But then the moment you play this one, your mind should go 1, 2, 3. You see what I mean? So you have to keep going, right? So there's that beginning, but from that point onwards, the clock starts ticking and you need to keep going with it, okay? And I mean, just for everyone who is listening to us online, do you know the story of this sonata? Do you know what this movement is about and what it means and so on?
I can.
Yeah.
Can you hear him?
I cannot hear him right now.
No.
so-
Okay. Can you turn on the mic, please? Yes.
Hello.
How about now?
Hello, I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Cool. Okay.
So I just know just a little bit like there are the patronage of Beethoven and they're departed from each other and reunited again in the something like that. But I
Yeah.
didn't touch it
It's
too well.
true. It's true. So, I mean, it says here, the farewell Vienna, 4th of May, 1809, on the departure of the esteemed Archduke Rudolph, which was Beethoven's biggest patron. And it was at the time of the Napoleon invasions, and it was May of 1809 that Napoleon invaded Vienna, and that's why all the aristocracy had to leave. And this is why, Beethoven then wrote this. And this, I mean, it says Les Adieux, it's the most common name for it, but if you listen to the Lebewohl, yeah? Lebewohl, that's the beginning. And if you listen to that, I'm pointing this out now because it appears all throughout the movement, inverted, and it's regular form in the left hand, in the right hand, in different keys. But this descending, or when it's inverted, ascending motif, the Lebewohl, is permeated through everything. And I think it's something that you should keep an ear out for, and kind of, every time it appears, you say, it's saying goodbye, okay? So it's very important to keep this little theme coming up. Now, something more about this beginning. Of course, we have that big surprise, everyone is expecting this chord instead of that chord, okay? So this is a really special moment. Now, in terms of the quality of the sound, again, you were very expressive. I mean, you did something like, it was very much like this and very giving, and it shows your personality as a musician. You're a very generous musician, and that is a great thing to be, okay? But again, you have to set the mood for this. And what do you think the mood of this beginning is like? What kind of atmosphere you're trying to create?
You about to say goodbye to someone. It's very
Yeah.
kind
It's not a goodbye like hi, goodbye, you know, see you next
It's
time. It's a
melancholy,
goodbye.
right?
Yeah, it's a goodbye that is like, oh, you're leaving, and I don't want you to leave. It's bad that you're leaving, you know. So rather than being so expensive with it, try to think of a more concentrated sound. And you know, thinking of what we were talking about with your colleague just before, think of the orchestra. I mean, what instruments would be playing this particular part, yeah? Who's playing this?
I think it would be hard choice of between I think clarinet or some sort of low brass like trombone something.
Right, okay. Those are interesting choices. I would personally say the horns. I don't know why. I imagine a horn-like beginning of this. And that kind of darkish sound, but generous and warm, which the horns have. And this is the kind of thing that I think would be good for this beginning. So let's try one more time. Yeah, think of a more, again, compact sound. Saying goodbye, but not in this way, you know. Saying goodbye, but you have sorrow in your heart, and of that surprising chord. And also, again, the clock starts ticking. You can take some time. And 1, 2, 3. Yum, da dum, dum. Yeah, keep it going, keep it moving. Okay, so let's give it a try. Okay. So the beginning was a lot better, okay? And if you want to take even a little bit of extra time before the surprise chord, you can take a little bit more time there if you want. And the moment you kept moving forward, it was a lot better. But the moment you got here, you lost it a little bit. You see what I mean? So you have to keep going, because otherwise we're going to kind of get left behind and we don't know exactly where it's moving. So you can make that beautiful sound that you're making, and you can be as expressive as you are being, which again are great qualities. Your generosity is really beautiful to see, but you have to keep it moving, because otherwise it will be way too long. We'll lose track of it. And again, this is not quite romantic music just yet. I know it's one of the later sonatas, but still, you know, it's important to keep it going. So let's try one more time, okay? And then we move forward. So go on. Okay, so that was better. Okay, that was definitely better. Don't rush now. Okay, so don't go to the other end of the stick and be like, oh, I'm in a hurry. No, you can take your time, but it's basically living inside each beat, not staying for too long, but not staying for too little. So you'll find the balance over time. Yeah. So just careful with the dynamics around this area. So bar 7, after the sforzando on bar number 6, I'm finding this is a little bit maybe too loud. yeah, it's not quite, it's another surprise, yeah, because we can do this and then that and then back to here, yeah, but it's not really the point again. So we have another surprise that it's important to, and again, you know, and I would say this is quite special again, you know, because after one surprise, who would be expecting a second surprise? But here we are, okay. But yeah, this is the general gist for this bit, okay. Careful with the amount of pedal. I know it's a very small detail, but again, you're a very nice player, very good player. So we're going into the little details, okay? So when you have, for example, those successions of chords, you're kind of pedaling all the way through this. It's just a suggestion, but I would personally like something more like these are connected and then this is separated. Maybe not so much, but so you're still pedaling through each of them, but you're leaving a slight room to breathe instead of blah 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 blah. Yeah, instead of having a big lump of it. Yeah, to give it a little bit more nuance. Yeah.
So what you're trying to say is to use the pedal as an articulation of the phrase, right?
Yeah. You still use the pedal, absolutely, but without keeping it down all the time. You see, there's no break here. Something more. There's a kind of a little bit of a break in there, because these are the tiny details that will make it more towards the classical period than the romantic period. All with pedal, but not a pedal that stays down the whole time. It's something that lifts a little bit before that you reach the next one. And all the same for this one too as well. Instead of you see the difference? Yeah. So it's that kind of a thing in the sound. So can we go from 12? And don't forget we have our beat going. Da-yum, dum, dum. 1, 2, da-yum, dum, dum. Yeah, so try to keep it in it. Don't forget your rests, okay? The rests are really important because you do not have a dotted, you know, you don't have a full crotchet, for example. You don't have this, you have 1, 2, 3, okay? So make sure that the actual amounts, you know, are correct and you don't kind of just leave it and go over the rests, okay? All right. Good. That was better, okay? The amount of pedal that you put on those little semiquavers, you'll calibrate that over time, okay? It's something that you can keep working on. Don't forget when you have those little hairpins, okay? It's towards the middle one. So not da 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 da, but da yum da da. So it's kind of in the middle one, and then you go back down, okay? A tiny thing, but it's important visually, is it says attacca subito. Yeah, so it's like it's very it's subito for you, and you know that it's coming. And even though this music has been composed a long time ago, and many people have played it before, it has to sound as if it's the very first time that you're playing it, that everyone is listening to it. It needs to sound fresh. So, for example, if you play the last two chords like so, and you're already kind of, everything in your body language is already saying what's coming next. Okay, it's you know, for all we know, you can stay here. So you really need to kind of say with your body language that yes, it's all that's coming now, and then it's really a surprise. You see, so don't give it away too soon. Now, when you get into the next bit, now is actually much better than it was when you played the first time, okay? Because now it's more, it has a bit more direction. But just carefully if you fall into the, yeah, it sounds a little yada ta. You know, the first one does have the tenuto, but all the yada ta, you see, it has to be yada dum da da dee da dee da yada da. Okay, because if you do a little bit of a cushion every time, yada da yada da yada, when you have this forzando, it will sound normal. Okay, and if you want to do a little bit of that thing before this forzando comes, you need to yam da da ding da da dun da 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 ya dee da da dee da da. You see what I mean? So it needs more direction in general. So when you do the thing, it's a special thing instead of a thing that you kind of do every single time that comes. Okay, so let us go from the semiquavers of 15, okay, to do that nice little ending on bar 16 and then into the allegro. Okay, so ya dee dum dum, yeah. That was much nicer. Okay, now don't forget there's a piano straight away, okay, because all that you're kind of going yadi da 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 straight away, okay. Yes, it is expressive, but the crescendo only starts later, okay. So try to be expressive, but within the confines of the piano dynamics. Now, where here can you hear, albeit in a different way, the le bévol theme?
Can you say a question again?
Where in this
Where?
area that we are playing now, in this allegro, where can you find the le bévol theme? So we have here le bévol, yeah. So again, in the beginning I said it could come in different ways. It could come inverted, wink wink. So so wrong hand. Right. So we have it in our left, actually, and it's the bottom. Le bévol, we have that little thing there. And why am I saying this? It's because then this bass line all of a sudden becomes important. Okay. Of course, it's not to go. That's not what we want. Of course, it's just the first one. Yeah, that one. And actually, most of the time you're doing it the other way around. You're going the second one. You're going into the second. So try to go, into the first, not accented, okay? It's the same thing I was saying to your colleague. It's the leaning on it. Yum, dum, dum, dum. Again, kind of nodding to the le bévol theme inside of it, okay? And yeah, avoiding that accent. Now, in terms of the right hand, where it's where is its final point of arrival in these octaves? Yum, dum, team, tum. Yeah, all of this area. Where does it go? Where does it fall? What, sorry?
I'll translate for him a little bit, okay? So เมื่อกี้อาจารย์ถามว่าไอ้มือขวาที่เป็นออกเทปอะครับอาจารย์ถามว่าเราคิดว่ามันจะไปจบมันไปสุดที่ไหนครับ phrase นี้ที่ไหน
I think we go to like
Right, so maybe I didn't phrase my question very well. I'm sorry about that if that was the case. But what I meant was, getting to as in the climax of it. When you go ya ya dee da 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 dee da and so on and so on. Like what is the point that is the most like this? Because we have a series, we have a crescendo, and we have then a couple of sforzandos, and basically all of this to say that you're not quite doing it well, both of them, yeah. And when you do both of them, which one is the one that you actually kind of, unless you want to do two the same, but I'm a big believer that we try not to do things the same. If you have two sforzandi, we do one that is maybe a bit more important than the other, unless it's one of those occasions in which Beethoven gets very obsessive and he plays the same thing over and over, and then the sforzandi are kind of all the same because, but this is not one of such passages. So yeah, where are you kind of having your biggest boof moment there? See what I mean?
ออกมาอาจารย์เขาถามว่ามันไอโมเมนต์ที่เป็นไคลแม็กซ์ของช่วงนี้เราคิดว่ามันอยู่ที่ไหนครับ
I kind of think the climax is no.
Okay, well, you really like that phrase. That's okay, all right. I would say we go for the sforzandi, okay? So we have that, and I would say from this point everything goes down. This is like the ending of the race. Yeah, so basically, I would say that it needs to go towards that one, and then eventually, you see what I mean? Because it seems like you stop a little bit on dun, dun, and then not so much dun, and they do a lot of da. And again, it's beautiful that that you do it like so. But again, it's more the classical period, so you have to be a little bit careful how you do that part, okay? And I would say going like an arrow, yan, dun, dee, da, ya, dee, da, dee, da, da, dee, da, ya, dee, da, da, dee, da. You see what I mean? And again, it shapes it a bit more, it gives it more direction, because again, I think that when you get really expressive, sometimes one can lose the sense of the big picture, and we get so caught up in like the little beautiful phrases that sometimes we kind of don't see where it's going, and I think this is one of such cases in which you can kind of know where you're going. And anyway, right, that was enough talking. Let's do some playing. Okay, don't forget that le bevel in the left hand, don't forget to kind of keep it moving, and I'll stop you eventually again. Okay. Good. It definitely had more direction now, okay, so yay. And I really enjoyed the bit on, 34, 35. Yeah, it was filled with that Beethoven character. That was very nice, okay. Now, do not let the small things kind of get in the way when you have that, this kind of, you see, because sometimes you get, I would keep it a little bit simple, yeah. So we have a you see, so you can keep it a little bit simple. Again, not everything has to be, this, because again, it's style, okay? It's the style of it, but everything, the espressivo was very nice, okay? Really enjoy like your tension moments. And the one thing that I would say has too much pedal is the bars 58 and 59 and so on. All of a sudden, it can sound a little bit like Rachmaninoff, yeah. I would say don't put so much pedal on it, okay? Because we really need to hear this phrase. We need to hear it clearly, and sometimes with pedal it can go, and we really need to have it we need to have it clearer. So I would say be careful with pedal in this area, okay? I'm not going to ask you to repeat it because I'm aware of time, and it's a shame because I could stay here forever talking about these kind of things, but we have to move on. All right. Another area that is very important, I'm going to jump straight to it, that in my opinion has a bit too much pedal going on, is all section when you have the yarada, da-da-da, da-da-da in the left hand, in the development section, okay? Because it sounds very much, it sounds very, very pedally. It's enough. You can put a little bit of on pedal on the very first quaver, yarata, but we still need that yarata, not yabobo, yeah? This is not the kind of Beethoven sound, and especially in the area from bar 95, when you have that string of left hands, yarati, yarata, it's too pedaled, too pedaled, I'd say. So I would like you to go straight from that point and try it out, just putting pedal on the first one of each of the two quavers, okay? Yarata, 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 instead of yaradam, dadadam, instead of keeping it down, and see how it sounds. So from 94, yeah? You happy to go through? Yeah, 94. Okay. You see what I mean? So rather than, yeah. So first note, yada, yada, yeah. So something more like, yeah. Instead of yada, da.
So you pedal the first couple of semiquaver and you leave the rest, right?
I pedal the first one of the quavers off, down, off, down, off, down, off, down, off, down, off. You see? Can you try just the left hand a little bit? It's literally just this. Yeah, so not so much a oh, okay, I'm seeing 95, but yeah. So it's not so much, but the moment you play the second note, the pedal is already off. On, off, yeah? On, off, you see? Yes. That sounds so much nicer. Yes, absolutely. And I think it will give this passage a completely different character, because, I mean, different people can imagine different things, of course, but if it has too much pedal, for me, it loses the sense of expectancy, like what is going to happen next. And you know, all of those little rests in between and little separations kind of make us be like, oh, what is this? You know, instead of yada da da yada da. I don't think it's quite the mood for this. And especially when you have notes that repeat, when you have that, it doesn't sound quite yada da da. Yada, da, instead of wo, 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 wo. You see what I mean? Yes, that would be my advice for all this section, and then you can be a lot more playful with the atmosphere you want to create rather than letting the pedal do it for you. Okay. So I would see, how much time do we have? Oh, five minutes. Okay, we have 5 minutes. I mean, I would say this is the main things I want to tell you. Again, you're a very good musician, you're very expressive. Just be expressive within these confines of Beethoven. Yeah, okay. Be very mindful of the tempo. I think eventually you can try to play it a little faster. Okay, because that extra bit of speed can give you more direction in some senses. Okay, and it's the pedaling thing as well. And again, being very mindful of this motif, because for example, in the, you know, from 181, bar 181, it's an area where sometimes you can get a little bit lost. You know, and if we think Leberwohl, we have that Leberwohl, and then we have Leberwohl. Yeah. It's Leberwohl, 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 okay? And if you keep this in mind, Leberwohl, you won't feel like you see, kind of, you could get a little bit lost if you wait too long. Again, this was one of the sections in which you took, in my view, a little bit too much liberty with the tempo, okay? So if you keep it Leber, and you have the left as well, and you keep it going, and you have this motif that gets really, really recognizable if you keep doing it. But that is the point. Again, if you play it overall a little bit faster, the ending will also feel a little bit swifter, because I would feel like those last scales going up, they can go up a little bit less in a less kind of contrived way. You can be a little bit more simple in the way they go. So actually, let's play that bit, okay? If we play from 242, that's 41, 42, 39. Okay, and I'm going from 239 for a very specific reason, is because it's very important to have that left hand E, it's staccato. Because usually it sounds, careful that it's not too long, okay? I saw this thing about this sonata in which Anders Schiff said about this, that it sounds like the horses of the carriage of the Archduke going away, and I really, really love that image. Yo, pop, 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 pop. It's like the horses going. So yeah, make sure to keep those staccatos in place, okay? And the tempo until the end. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so trying to keep it kind of moving in that sense. So let's go, yeah, from 239. Yeah, till then. Keep going. Okay, that was definitely better. Okay, keep that clock going. All right, but yeah, in general, really nicely done. Okay, again, you're very generous musician, very expressive. So keep going. Just think of it more in a Beethoven frame of mind. But you should be totally okay. Well done. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi So thank you, Anna, very much for this in the second section of our masterclass, and thank you ศิรภพนะครับขอบคุณศิรภพมากนะครับแล้วก็ขอบคุณอาจารย์อันนานะครับก็ระหว่างที่เปลี่ยนมุมกล้องแล้วก็อาจจะให้อาจารย์อันนาได้พักอีกสักนิดนึงนะครับก็อาจจะขอใช้เวลาพักอีกสักประมาณ13 นาทีนะครับขอให้กลับมาอีกครั้งหนึ่งประมาณ5 นาทีครับหลัง5 โมงแล้วกันนะครับอีกสัก13 นาทีก็ขอเวลาประมาณ10 นาทีในการเปลี่ยนนะครับ so we back in our last section at 5 past 5 in Thailand, so 5 past 11 in the UK. Is that right, Anna?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, and I'll be back for the last section in a couple of minutes. Okay, thank you. ขอบคุณนะครับ
แขกผู้มีเกียรติและสื่อมวลชนทุกท่านครับสำนักวิทยาศาสตร์ก่อตั้งเมื่อปีพุทธศักราช
ผมอาจารย์ชนุชเตชะธนนันท์นะครับ
สวัสดีครับพิสุทธิ์ปฏิเกษมครับอาจารย์ประจำอยู่ที่คณะดุริยางคศาสตร์
คอร์สพิเศษจากศิลปากรมิวสิกนะครับชื่อว่า Train the Trainer
ทีนี้เวลาจะไปโชว์เวลามีคอนเสิร์ตเวลามันก็มีเรื่องของ arrangement
ความเข้าใจดนตรีความ
นี่คือรายการศิลปากร Music Experience Podcast รายการที่จะพาผู้ฟังเปิดประสบการณ์ใหม่ๆกับคนหลากหลายอาชีพโดยคณาจารย์จากคณะดุริยางคศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยศิลปากร
การมีสิทธิบัตรครอบครองไว้อย่างที่สุด
องค์กรนะครับจะต้องศึกษาพฤติกรรม
Every day I've got the blues. When you see me worried, baby, 'cause it's you I hate to lose. Nobody loves me. No.
ค
สื่อมวลชนทุกท่านครับคณะวิทยาศาสตร์ก่อตั้งเมื่อปีพุทธศักราช
ผมอาจารย์ชนุชเตชะธนนันท์นะครับ
สวัสดีครับพิสุทธิ์ปฏิเกษมครับอาจารย์ประจำอยู่ที่คณะดุริยางคศาสตร์
คอร์สพิเศษจากศิลปากรมิวสิกนะครับชื่อว่า Train the Trainer
ทีนี้เวลาจะไปโชว์เวลามีคอนเสิร์ตเวลามันก็มีเรื่องของ arrangement
ความเข้าใจดนตรีความสวัสดีครับก็มาสู่ช่วงสุดท้ายของ Piano Masterclass นะครับ by อานาเบียทริสเฟรรานะครับก็ในช่วงสุดท้ายนี้ก็จะเป็นการเรียนของเปมิกานะครับหรือว่าแพรวาซึ่งเปมิกาก็จะมาเล่น movement ที่ 1 และ 2 ของโมซาร์ท Piano Sonata in D Major K576 นะครับ so welcome everyone again to the very last section of this Piano Masterclass with Anna Beatriz Ferreira. So the last student that is also the last, like the final year student of the Faculty of Music is Pemika or Prewa. She'll be performing the first and the second movements of Mozart's Piano Sonata in D Major K576. So I'd like to give the stage back to Anna and the student. Thank you.
So if you wouldn't mind, hi, first of all, nice to meet you. If you wouldn't mind, we do the same as with your colleague, okay? You just play the first movement, we would do a little bit of work, and then a bit of the second, okay? Yeah, great. Okay, thank you very much for that. Yeah, that is in general nice. Okay, that's some very nice work that you've done, and again, a lot of detail in the articulation and everything. So there's a lot of work done in here. So really good job. Really good job for that. I think the thing that maybe you can do a little bit more of is perhaps have more fun with it. And what I mean by that is, you know, you do your fortes and you do your pianos, and I can tell you have this harmonic awareness going on because, you know, the way that you're shaping things tells me that. But you think you can be a little bit more expansive and expressive and have more fun. For example, I would personally make perhaps a bigger difference between the beginning. This is something, and then this would be a different character. Instead of so much you see, so more you see, so it's a different character, and then we go back to the same area. And then this the other one. You see what I mean? So rather than making it so connected in between them, and again, you are making a little bit of a difference, but I don't think it's difference enough. Yes, and again, it's all about your enjoyment of it. Like this is a fun sonata, you know, it's mostly drama free, you know, there's not a lot of like tempestuous passages and anything like that. So it would be nice to see that variety of characters. And again, if you think of operas, yeah, you have different people speaking at different points instead of just having the same piano voice all across. So we can definitely explore a little bit of that. So if you wouldn't mind starting from the beginning and making sure you have that start, and then, you know, a different character, and then the first character speaks again. Yeah, let's make a bit of more difference there. Yes, it was a lot better, you know. The thing is, I don't let your fingers get away from you, okay? So this is one of the reasons why playing Mozart can get so difficult, is because you have all that string of semiquavers and you cannot let them go away. And one trick to help you grab them a little bit more is if you keep thinking of the phrase more in terms of instead of going you see what I mean? So it's a bit more phrasing them, okay, and maybe slightly deeper into the keys. It seems like it's quite superficial playing, which again can be quite appropriate for Mozart, but not so, you know, on top of the keys that then you might lose your touch and the semiquavers go away. Okay, so try to phrase your semiquavers a little bit more, okay, and try to make sure that the sound is always there, so maybe a little bit more into the keys. Let's go straight from that point. So this is 11, 10, 9. So the upbeat of bar 9, yeah, you have the left hand, dot, dee, dot, dot, dum, yeah, and we start from that point. Is that okay?
So เมื่อกี้เอา translate a bit again นะ
Yeah.
เมื่อกี้อาจารย์บอกว่าคาเบต2 ชั้นนะครับเราต้องรักษามันไว้ทั้งหมดแล้วก็เราอาจจะเล่นให้มันลึกลงไปหน่อยเพื่อที่ว่าจะได้ยินทุกโน้ตแล้วก็แต่ว่าเราต้องเฟรสมันด้วยนะครับเป็นหาเฟรสข้างในมันด้วยนะครับ
This is something, and this is something, instead of, you see what I mean? You can definitely give a little bit more phrasing to it instead of just saying, yeah, and again, it's not so much this kind of, this is quite superficial. A little bit more into the keys. You see what I mean? Yeah?
ใช่ครับก็คือว่าให้หนึ่งคือให้มันมีเชฟแล้วก็เราอาจจะต้องคืออาจารย์เขาบอกว่าเล่นลงไปในคีย์ซึ่งผมไม่ใช่นักเปียโนไม่แน่ใจว่าแปลว่าอะไรแต่ก็คือมันจะได้มีเฟรซซิ่งลงไปที่ตัวไหนตัวหนึ่งแล้วก็ไปต่อได้ครับไม่ให้มันขาดตอน
You had a little bit more control there, okay? Then it's a matter of you working it out a little bit and feeling a little bit more comfortable inside of the phrase, okay? So you would have to repeat it a few times in your own practice time. But the point is, things only get away from our fingers when we're not paying enough attention to them. And our fingers are kind of just like here instead of really engaging with what you're doing, okay? So, of course, it's not to exaggerate. It's all, again, within the Mozart confines. We don't do huge swellings inside of the phrases. But still, you can add a little bit more excitement and expression there. Especially the second one, yeah? Yeah, that one you can definitely give a little bit more. So you have the first step, and then you have the second step in which you can be a little bit more expressive then because of the harmony, okay? So yeah, you can keep playing, okay? So if we go from the exact same spot as you started before, okay? Very good semiquavers, yeah, grab them well, and we can keep on going, okay? I'll stop you when it's necessary. You can go. Okay. That was a lot better, okay? I definitely felt more engagement on your part there, okay? I do think that when you get from bar 24, yeah, you can definitely get it more exciting, okay? It seems very ba-da-ba-da-bum, ba-da-ba-da-bum, ba-da-ba-da-bum. And I think you can use those syncopations, da-da-da-dee-da, 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 yeah, to kind of make it more and more and more exciting. And I would say, I mean, I know it has a forte all the way through, but of course we haven't been in forte all the way through. And I would say this is the opportunity to do a little bit of a crescendo into a yum tum tum dim tum tum dee. Yeah, this is kind of the higher point and everything there. Da 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 dee da 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 more and yum pum pum bim pum bim ba dee da da. You see what I mean? So yeah, you can definitely get things more heated up in there, more exciting, more fun. This is the whole point, just to have some fun. So, what is a good place to start for you? I mean, is 24 okay? Or do you want to go from a little bit before that? What is good for you?
Directly at 24. Okay.
Well, that's it. I would think that you can still give it a little bit more, and don't stop it there when you go. It seems like you stop a little bit there. Yeah, you only finish there, and in my opinion, you can wait a tiny bit more between that and the little bit. Yeah, da da da. Da, da, da. Yeah, I mean, it's a tiny fraction, so it's not an actual break, but it's basically you're signaling something is over, and then I'm going to start it in a different way, and you have all that lovely counterpoint going on, okay? But yes, I would say get to the end of your point and to the end of the sentence or the phrase, musical phrase, so then you can do a little bit of contrast on the bit that comes afterwards. You see what I mean? Yeah? Okay. So let's try one more time, and then you can keep on going. Okay. So try to do what we just talked about. So same spot, 24, going forward. Okay, that was better. Okay, that was definitely more expressive. Okay, in this area that passed, I would invite you in your own time to think about what each different key would mean to you, because again, we don't want a series of da di da da di da da digga 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 da 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 di da da digga digga. That is all the same. Okay, but this is something that shouldn't really be copied, and it's something that I should not prescribe to you. This one is softer, this one is louder, this is something that you need to find in your own time, but you understand what I mean, right? So it's really about finding what makes it unique for you, and rather than playing the semiquavers, I mean, I'm not saying that you don't have any expression going on the contrary, yeah, you're definitely having a good sense of it, but I think it can be heightened, it can be more out there. This is what I mean. Right, can we, how are we doing in terms of time? If someone can tell me.
About half an hour, so we have plenty of time.
So we still have some more time. Good. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Okay. So we can perhaps go from the development section. Okay, and try again those different characters that we were talking about. Yes. So we have that piano first. Ya da dee da da dee da. That is the end of the exposition. Then in minor. Then in forte. Okay. So I really want to hear a difference between those three sections, even though it interlaps again the end of the exposition with the beginning of the development, but they cannot all sound ya da dee da da dee da. Da da dee da da dee da 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 dee da da. You see what I mean? So try to make them three individual characters in a very short amount of time. Is that all right? Expressive player, yes, and I can tell that you know where to make it a little stronger and when to make it a little weaker and so on. So you have all the right ideas going on, but I still think you can give it more. So for example, all this section from 72 and eventually that's tension moment on 77. It's all building up excitement, and I do feel like you're stirring up a little bit, but I don't feel the excitement getting there. So I feel, for example, that bar 81 is a point of arrival somehow. So it feels like a safe, familiar territory after all of these small variations on the thing that just happened. But it just seems like you kind of just got there instead of kind of building up again that excitement. So basically, all I'm asking is, can you do exactly what you're doing, but tone it up a little more, okay? It's like you have to play for the last person the last row, the people in the last row of the concert hall. And if you do not kind of expand a little bit more on what you're doing, they're not going to understand what you're trying to tell them, you see? So again, all the right instincts, you're doing all the right things, but I need a little bit more contrast in them. Do you see what I mean? Yeah.
I'll translate for Anna อาจารย์อนาบอกว่าเราต้องขยายไอตัว expression ของเราออกหน่อยครับเพื่อให้สามารถสื่อสารไปถึงคนข้างหลังได้อย่างเช่นตรงที่เรากลับมาเป็นธีมที่คล้ายๆกับตอนต้นเมื่อกี้นะครับมันต้องมา arrive ตรงนั้นอย่างมั่นใจอะไรเงี้ยก็จะให้ลองอีกทีหนึ่งนะครับแต่ว่าอาจารย์เขาบอกว่าเรามี expression อยู่แล้วเราแสดงให้เห็นถึงความแตกต่างแล้วแหละแต่ว่าจะต้องให้ขยายให้มันแบบมากขึ้นอีกหน่อยนึงนะครับ So should we start from the same place?
Yes, we can start from the same place and sing more the right hand if you can, okay? And again, it's what we just talked about. But yeah, let's start from the same spot. I think it was the beginning was better, definitely. But yeah, especially that bar 79, it can be more like so. Okay, I'm not going to insist on it now. Again, it's just a suggestion again, of course, and you see what you want to do with it, and you can do a little bit of exploring. But I would say it needs a little bit yada di da di da di da di da di da da, a little bit more of that. So we can have that contrast with the quieter section. Right, I would say that it remains the same for the rest of the movement. Again, there's nothing that you're doing that is not, correct. You're being careful with your articulations and dynamics and so on. It's just building those moments of excitement overall. I mean, is there any bits in this movement that you would like particularly to go through or ask anything about?
มีตรงไหนในท่อนนี้ไหมครับที่อยากจะถามหรือว่าอยากจะให้อาจารย์ช่วยดูไหม No, I think you said it all.
Okay, good. All right. So we can move on to the adagio. If you're happy with it.
ท่อนสองนะครับ
「
Right, thank you. Again, very expressive. Yeah, that's really nice. I think my message really is the same to you. Okay, it's about the sound and trying to make it as special as possible. Okay, and seeing all the different characters and the different moods that you can create within this movement, because all the technical things, let's speak it like that, all the balance between the notes and the hierarchy between things, all of that is in place. I would say now it's working with that expression. So if you can tell me, what is the mood that you're trying to create right at the beginning?
I translate that. So เมื่อกี้อาจารย์นาบอกว่าทุกอย่างเรื่องทางเทคนิคก็ดีหมดนะครับแต่ว่าอยากให้โฟกัสที่เรื่อง expression อะไรเงี้ยอาจารย์ก็เลยถามว่า mood ที่เราพยายามจะสร้างตั้งแต่ต้นท่อนเนี่ยเราคิดว่ามันเป็น mood ยังไงบ้างใช่ครับภาษาไทยก็ได้ว่าแบบว่าแล้วเดี๋ยวเราจะแปลเป็นภาษาอังกฤษให้เขาเนี่ยว่าแบบอารมณ์ความรู้สึกของท่อนนี้มันเป็นยังไงอะไรเงี้ยครับ So the first two words she said was calm and peaceful.
Okay, that is good.
But she's trying to get more into that.
Yeah, I like calm and peaceful. I maybe would add something else. I know it's not written in the music, but I would add a little dolce in there. So it's that sweet, warm feeling, and you want to make it as special as possible, instead of just kind of going through the motions of it. Just very precious, yes, calm, peaceful, and again, if you can add a layer of sweetness in it, close to your heart, that will make it a beginning that's very special. Okay, so we can try that. That is better. Okay, I actually really loved your turn of phrase. What I did not love was the first note. It seemed a little bit like okay, so it's definitely something that you can try a little bit more. Yeah, so you have to be very careful with the way that you play that first note, and also again the whole thing, not quite so much this, more of that. Yes, so it's really important that you kind of give the right atmosphere from the beginning. So let's try it one more time. Yeah, very mindful of that start. Right, that was nicer, okay, but because it was so nice, we cannot do anything to destroy it, okay? It's keeping that movement. So, for example, when you played that was fine, and then all of a sudden, yeah, we had that note coming in big, and all of a sudden it was as well. Yes, we really want to make sure that you keep listening to that E until the very end. And then careful. You see, so it's a sweet instead of. You see what I mean? And every hand counts and everything counts. So again, you created it so well, just keep it going, okay? It's just taking very good care of every note that you have there, okay? So can we go straight from the yeah, straight from that point? Okay, that was much nicer. Okay, very, very nice. Again, careful with the left hand, for example, on bar 6. Okay, we definitely don't want this going. Yeah, we want a dum da. This one is important, of course, but yeah. So it's important that the left hand does not come anytime, and that it just kind of comes in. Okay, to keep that atmosphere going. But that was very nice. Okay, so we can move on from bar 9. You can play from bar number 9. Yeah. On bar 13, make sure that you sing through the little ornamentation, because everything was so beautiful, and we don't want to just yeah, everything goes in a that is the point that you sing through everything, even the little notes. Yeah, but all the turns of phrases and the endings of the phrases, you're doing it very nicely, okay? So these are just very tiny things, very, very tiny suggestions there. Now, another tiny suggestion, I mean, it has to do with taste, and there's nothing wrong with what you're doing at the moment. If anything, it's really faithful to what it should be. I would, however, put a tiny, tiny bit of pedal here, but not throughout. It's just to help connect that one to that one, because I'm not sure I was a big fan of that. It's just a tiny thing, and then you can keep it the same. It's a whiff of pedal, and then you take it off straight away. So you don't keep it. It's the same type of pedal we've been talking about throughout the entire masterclass, actually. So just a tiny whiff, and then you take it off, da dee da dee da dee da da, and off straight away. Yeah, it's a tiny thing, and also to help it give more color, because of course at this time pedal was not a massive thing as it later on became. Okay, but still, you know, a tiny bit for a little bit of color here and there, very well placed, hopefully with the good taste. Yeah, it doesn't hurt at all. So yeah, just try it just a tiny bit. You take your foot straight away up. Okay, so if we go from 17 straight away. It. See, it was really, really nice, but it's like there is a different character moving in from the left hand, isn't it? Because you have that and this is something else. We have, let me see, sorry, dodi, dodi. Yeah, so, but the point is you have something else that comes, someone else. Yeah, so you really need to make sure that you keep singing throughout the left hand and you don't lose it. Yeah, one character, other character, and then the character, the first one comes back again on bar 21. Okay, so yeah, don't lose the thread over there. So yeah, bar 20, please. Sorry, bar 20. No, the same spot. So it's 17, please. Yeah. Oh, great. Good. That was very nice. Okay, just a tiny bit of housekeeping, very small. Don't forget all the little rests. Okay, so for example, when we have, let's see, 16, 17, 18, 19, when you have on bar 19 that very important to have those breaks, because especially this time you did something like, yeah, so it's really important to keep those rests in. Same thing when you have all the ones on 23, okay, when you have a, you see what I mean? So it's really important to have that. It's the same that we were talking about before, you know, having these little rests, these little moments of quietness really helps in the excitement and in making it different and so on. But that left hand now, that turn of the left hand was really good. Yeah, so we can keep going from 24. Yeah, don't forget, very beautiful, very lyrical in the right hand. Yes, you're being again musical and you're doing, you know, you're definitely not making these scales boring at all, yeah, which is a really great thing. But I still think that each of them can say something different, okay? Because I mean, for me personally, it feels like a dialogue. I'm not sure how it feels for you, but it seems like we have the lower voice and then the upper voice replying and then the lower voice and then the upper voice. So if you can make it more like someone is speaking, and shape it in different ways. So for example, if you did one which had a big crescendo, then I would say the next one, don't do such a big crescendo, maybe do it a bit quieter, or you know, you see what I mean? So not trying to follow the same types of movements, because again, you're being expressive, but it's the way that you're being expressive, yes, and the difference in expression that you can make in between, you know, these different areas. I'm mindful of time. I'm told that we don't have that long at all. So yeah, in general, really nice playing. Okay, you're a very gentle player, and you know, your sound is very nice, and you clearly think about, you know, how to phrase and shape things. But I think you can give a little bit more in general, and try perhaps to be a little bit more inventive and creative with, you know, your phrasings, and try to maybe populate this Mozart world with a few more characters in your mind, and kind of imagine what they would be saying, and trying not to play passages kind of the same way. If there's a motif that keeps coming up, or a certain rhythm that keeps coming up, make it different. Again, if you did a crescendo one time, the next time don't. Or if you did a forte one time, the other time you can try it a bit differently. So it's more about the variety. Again, you have all the right ingredients. It's just adding a little bit more salt and pepper and other lovely things into it to make it more exciting for you and for everyone as well. All right. Do you have anything you'd like to ask or say? You're right. Oh, great. Well done then.
So thank you so much. Thank you. Hi. So I would like to thank all of the students, active students today who have worked really hard for this masterclass. And well, 3 hours has gone and it has been a really long 3 hours, and I'm not sure how you can, keep your energy, Anna. So would you like to say something to the audience or to the students before we kind of like close off this session?
Yeah, I just want to say again, thank you so much, because it really has been really great working with them, and the time has just flown by for me. It's been really quick, so it's just been really good to work with them, and good job. They're all very good, and clearly a lot of work and thought has been put into the work. So I really thank them for their effort and for playing today, and of course the Faculty of Music at Silpakorn University for inviting me. This has been great. ขอบคุณค่ะ
So thank you very much, and I'm sure that if you have a chance to come to Thailand, we might have a chance to welcome you again in person, not virtually. So yeah, we are really happy to have you today, and we hope to have you in so many other occasions in the future. So I think we have arrived at the end of our piano masterclass series by Anna today. So I would like to thank all of the participants, all of the students today who, as again, I have said that they have worked really hard, and also the audience online. Even though it's not a really big audience, so I'm sure that everyone was, kept, enchanted by Mozart and Beethoven music. And also I would like to thank Assistant Professor Jamon, which is the piano teacher for all of these students who have prepared these students for this workshop and who have been, assist with every process along the way. And I would like to also thank the Faculty of Music, Silpakorn University, and also Silpakorn University for this wonderful opportunity for these students. And so ก็ต้องขอขอบคุณนะครับขอบคุณนักศึกษาทั้ง3คนที่สละเวลาแล้วก็ทำงานอย่างหนักเพื่อมาเล่นให้กับอาจารย์อาณาได้ฟังในวันนี้นะครับแล้วก็อาจจะต้องขอบคุณผู้ชมทางบ้านด้วยถึงแม้ว่าจะไม่ใช่กลุ่มที่ใหญ่แต่ก็คิดว่าทุกคนก็คงได้รับความรู้แล้วก็อาจจะมีความเพลิดเพลินไปกับบทเพลงที่ทั้ง3คนได้เล่นนะครับแล้วก็ต้องขอบคุณผู้ช่วยศาสตราจารย์จามอนมากๆนะครับที่เป็นอาจารย์ของทั้ง3ท่านแล้วก็น่าจะใช้เวลาเตรียมตัวแล้วก็คัดเลือกบทเพลงแล้วก็คอยประสานงานในทุกๆลำดับขั้นมาจนถึงวันนี้นะครับแล้วก็ขอบคุณคณะดุริยางคศาสตร์นะครับมหาวิทยาลัยศิลปากรแล้วก็มหาวิทยาลัยศิลปากรที่เปิดโอกาสให้เรามีงานอาร์เคดนะครับซึ่งทำให้เรามีโอกาสได้จัดเปียโนมาสเตอร์คลาสซึ่งสามารถเชิญอาจารย์จากต่างประเทศมาให้ความรู้กับนักศึกษาแล้วก็บุคคลทั่วไปได้นะครับขอขอบคุณทุกคนมากเลยนะครับก็หวังว่าจะได้มีโอกาสพบกันใหม่ในงานต่อๆไปนะครับเพราะว่าในอนาคตเนี่ยก็จะมีงานเปียโนมาสเตอร์คลาสอีกครั้งหนึ่งของProfessor Kenneth Hamilton นะครับในวันที่18ตุลาคมเวลาก็จะประมาณบ่าย 3 โมงหรือ 4 โมงเนี่ยนะครับแล้วก็วันศุกร์นี้เนี่ยก็จะมีแจ๊สกีตาร์มาสเตอร์คลาสนะครับบายอาจารย์โอลาแบงซอนนะครับจากประเทศสวีเดนนะครับวันศุกร์ที่17กันยายนนี้นะครับก็หวังว่าเราจะได้พบกันใหม่ในโอกาสหน้านะครับขอบคุณครับ